And we are live and back. And it's a Tuesday night instead of a Wednesday night. And it looks like Chris has frozen. Hey there, Chris. Can you hear me? And I'm not sure if Chris can hear me. Oh, goodness. The wonders of the internet. Brought to you by
lately. But anyway,
the
yes,
Marketing
we'll
Show.
come back and then unfrozen when he does get back. I house
Christopher Kaihaus.
director of Twisted Dreams film.
Twisted Dreams Film Festival. Yeah.
It's placed in Milwaukee.
Anyway. So what do you want to talk about before he gets back?
Oh, there he comes. Hold on. Back now.
Hey guys, sorry, I backed out and I came back in.
No, that's okay. It's kind of,
What you gotta do?
that kind of is expected some nights with this goofy internet.
Well, yeah, I apologize. I'm on mobile. Like I was telling you before the show, I double booked myself. We have to go down to the Ocean and film our TV show, but I'm going to bring you guys along with me.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. So I was saying that you're a director of Twisted Dreams Film Festival.
Yeah.
Plus you have all kinds of other things that you dabble in. You're part of the Racine Paranormal Group.
Yep.
Right? And what else
Yeah,
do you
Racine
dabble in?
Paranormal.
I mean, I know you go down and film now and then down at Jaker's Bar in Milwaukee. You know, there's an original place. You filmed Dr. Destruction there. If I'm
show.
right?
Crimson Theater, yep. It's on channel 59.3, VPod television in the Chicagoland area, or on Roku. If you have Roku, you can catch it anywhere.
And then you do the Pop Culture podcast during the week.
Pop Culture Podcast every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yep. Watch a few of those.
We do a lot of different things.
Yeah, those are fun to watch, you know, especially when you get some of those people on there that are like from my past. Like, you know,
Yeah, we have a lot of fun on that show. We've had you guys on. We've had you guys on, right? I can't remember.
Not
Have we
yet.
had you guys? Oh, okay.
Not yet.
I'm slacking. I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's all right, man.
Guy, you're pretty busy.
You're busy.
Man.
So there's something I wanted to ask you about.
Sure.
I seen some of the posts that you post come up on my Facebook here, and I was kind of thumbing through it this morning, and I seen you had one up there. You asked a question of something about what's one of the most batshit crazy movies that you ever seen.
Yep.
And I've seen that Tom made a comment, but you said the Serbian film. Have you actually seen that damn thing?
I have a copy of it. Yeah, I ordered it on DVD.
Oh my god, dude! That thing. I watched what I could stomach of it.
Did you make it to the end? Did you make it to the end?
Nope.
Okay, the end is where it's really
one of the
up.
most. That's like one of the most disturbing movies I've seen ever.
Yeah, I never.
I'll tell you.
I mean, it's even more. For me, it's even more disturbing than The Clockwork Orange. That one was pretty disturbing.
If you did not see the end of Serbian film, you haven't seen anything messed up. The ending is the creme de la creme of messed up film.
I don't know. The most messed up film I ever watched was during the VHS era. Okay, and if you've ever seen this film, you'll understand why. But it was called Videodrome.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know, that movie actually gave me a few nightmares.
Yeah, that was a good
I
movie.
was actually managing video stores back then when I saw
I was
that.
going to say, yeah, I worked at a video store in the early 90s, and I got my film education every summer working at a video store. I'd bring home a stack of tapes. It was awesome. I was a kid. I didn't have any bills, no kids. I didn't have a wife. I could just watch movies all night.
What was it? Doorstep?
Doorstep video, yeah.
Yeah,
Doorstep
we talked
video.
about that last time you were on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I worked for a box office in Madison, and you were in Milwaukee when you did
I was
that.
in Milwaukee. Yeah, Doorstep was actually based out of Madison. They had most of their
Right.
stores in Madison. They had one in
Right.
Milwaukee that I worked at.
Yeah. Yeah. We ended up, I know all about Doorstep too.
Oh,
But,
sure.
But I worked for a video store, but the thing was, you could take home movies for nothing. So it's like,
Yep.
What best
Yeah,
thing?
I'd come home every night, big stack of movies and video games, and I'd stay up all night watch them, and then go to work the next day.
Same way.
Yep.
Same thing for years.
Yeah, crazy.
Still the best job I ever had.
That was a fun job. It was. It really was, especially during that era when video stores were a huge thing. When Doorstep came around, that was a big deal. That was like the biggest one before Blockbuster moved in town.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
a bad word in my book. They put me out of business.
Yeah, Blockbuster kind of screwed all the little mom and pop stores.
I was a little mom and pop store, and they moved in blocks away from me. So,
Yeah, we were doing okay against Blockbuster until Planet Video moved in directly across the street from us. Then we started to hurt, and then eventually Planet Video bought that Doorstep Video thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Planet Video was trying to become a big player like Blockbuster.
They were, yeah, but they grew too fast. They were paying their executives too much money. They were just hemorrhaging funds. So eventually they sold to Blockbuster. And Vic Saden, the guy that founded that, he would go from area to area. He had a big video chain in Michigan. Then he came over to Wisconsin. He sold that to Blockbuster. Came over to Wisconsin, started another video chain, did the same thing, sold it to Blockbuster. So he was kind of a predator of video stores. He would just put all these video stores out of business and then sell them.
Well, I used to like Doorstep because they used to have the best deals when you wanted to go in and buy movies to add to your collection. Buy them, buy a video game. They were the best deal and they had the best collections.
Yeah,
they weren't
Very
like
true.
some of the other video stores around the Madison area, like Video Station and stuff that didn't carry some of the cult classics. I was into some of the cult classics and some of the hard to find films, and you could find them at Doorstep.
Yep, it was great. I got my film education working at a video store. It was awesome.
Yep, so did I. I worked my way up to actually owning one for a while.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wish video stores would come back. I really miss video stores.
I do too. I really
That
do.
communal experience, it was great.
Dealing with all those distributors, putting together the standees, getting all the promotional materials, getting the films early. To watch them before everybody else saw all those screeners. Yeah, I had a nice collection of screeners for a long time.
Yep, me here. Me too. Yep. I still have them. I still have all my VHS screeners.
I have a few. I have Dead Poets Society. It's one of them.
Yeah, I would keep all the full moon screeners, the full moon films. I love full moon.
Full moon video.
Yep.
They're the ones that produce Puppet Masters.
Yep.
Those were really good. I like those.
Good movies.
And then there was a couple of them. What was her name? That one girl that she got her start with them, and I can't remember her name now. But I love the full moon video movies when they came out. They were some of the best ones out there for the sci-fi and horror flicks.
Yep, definitely.
And then, oh, excuse me. Hang on, Joe, talk.
Anyway, we got to say thank you though for that private tour.
Yeah, heck yeah.
We'll
do it again.
That was some history there. I understand why that place is the way it is. I looked into the history myself when I got back here too after that day.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was But that
swung
film was
the
not
wrong
what
way.
I expected. I gotta say that film was totally not what I expected, but it was interesting and it was kind of funny. I did laugh. It was funny.
Yeah,
I think it
yeah.
was.
If you're looking for a messed up film, definitely, a Serbian film. I don't think it can be beat. It's a messed up film,
Yeah, I had
and
to
make
bring
it
that
make it to
up,
the
didn't
ending.
I?
I gotta say, make it to the ending.
Yeah. Well, I watched that.
I-
What was it? Caligula. That was a mess
Caligula. Yep.
too. And then the one he mentioned. What was that one you
The
mentioned?
Clockwork Orange.
A Clockwork Orange. That one.
That one was pretty screwed up too, but no, that one does not hold a candle to the Serbian film. That is just
Yeah,
wow.
that one. So
Yeah.
we
I
Yeah.
probably,
Serbian
think
film.
I think you can find it on YouTube. I think that's where I found it.
really.
I
Maybe.
was kind of curious, and I went
Yeah,
to
well,
YouTube. I think I found it
you
there.
might not find a whole lot on YouTube anymore without their subscription to their live
Hmm.
or whatever, because they've been cracking down on a lot of that. So I've noticed that because I used to find there was a movie I used to be able to watch on there, and I can't find it anymore. It's gone. And
You talking about Billy Jack?
no, I have the Billy Jack collection. I own it. I even have a special bonus disc that was never used.
Get
No,
closer to your mic, Joe.
it was that Rude Awakening film with Cheech Marin and Eric Roberts.
Uh,
It's a stoner.
Rude Awakenings.
Yeah, it's called Rude Awakening.
I haven't heard of that.
It was a stoner film. A bunch of hippie stoners. It actually started out in the '60s, but it starred Eric Roberts and Cheech Marin.
Interesting.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. So, what kind of
Oh,
Halloween films do you guys like to watch every year? I asked that question today. If there's any must-watch films that you guys have during the Halloween season.
I answered that on there for myself. My favorite was the one that did not fit into the Halloween franchise.
Yeah.
Season of the Witch.
it's the third one of the Halloween movies.
The third one of the
Witch,
Halloween series that doesn't fit in. I was
It
talking.
has nothing to do with Michael Myers or any of that.
I was talking to somebody. She was telling me about that, or I heard it. She was upset and pissed off because it had nothing to do with Michael Myers. She thought maybe
Right.
at the end or something, but it wasn't in there. I mean, that should have been a standalone film. I've always said that too.
I agree with that.
But there's too many good ones out there that I
Mhm.
like. I was a fan of most of them. I just don't like the sequels after they go too far.
Well, the Hellraiser series did all right until they decided to take it to Hellraiser in space.
Yeah, but I only liked that one until like the third one.
Yep.
And then after that, I didn't like it no more. It's like the Leprechaun. I mean, the Leprechaun 3
Leprechaun in
when he was
Space,
in
yeah.
Vegas. When Leprechaun 3 was in Vegas, that was funny as fuck. I love the limericks that Warwick Davis came up with.
Yep.
Or was scripted for him. Those were funny, especially the ones in that Vegas episode. But after the third one, it kind of sucked. It's like the Nightmare on Elm Street. You can only take them so far. Or when you got Freddy versus Jason, come on, give me a break. I mean, you can't do that with everything. I mean, people
Yeah.
said Alien versus Predator was a big thing, but you can't do that with some of these horror films. How are they going to cross over? That doesn't make sense. Oh, now Freddy's or whatever, they're in Brooklyn, New York. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Didn't this start in some small town in the middle of nowhere? How do you get there?
Yep.
Some of it doesn't make sense. Or in space, Leprechaun in space or Leprechaun in the Hood. Come on. Hollywood's got no imagination anymore in my eyes. They wouldn't like
Yeah.
me.
We get a lot of remakes and reboots and things like that.
I'd be the worst. I'd be the most hated movie critic out there. They've all those remakes. I mean, all right, I don't got nothing against Rob Zombie, but give me a break. You can't do this to these classics. You can't remake the classic. You know,
Yeah, but remember, you know, whatever they remake these films, remember they don't take the originals away from you. You'll always have those originals. You don't
I
have
know
to
that, but
acknowledge the
still,
remakes.
it's like them. You got the movies out there, and it's got the same title, but it's not the same movie. You
Right.
know, you don't know what you're watching. Cable doesn't get things right because they don't always have the correct description. I'm thinking I'm watching the
Yeah.
classic. The next thing I know, it's not
Right.
because you got the actors from the actor from Supernatural.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I was really upset with the Ghostbusters remake. I thought that it was sacrilege. I didn't think that.
the
Not
one
that
with the
they're good
women.
actors, but yeah, I was so dead set against it. I watched it. I thought, this is you got to separate it from the original. If you can separate it from the original, not put it in that same continuity, it's an okay film. It's not a bad film. I enjoyed it, but
I thought it was funny.
yeah, you got to be able to separate these remakes from the originals. The
Well,
Halloween remake.
you also gotta think though. A lot of these remakes that they're making, look how far after the original they are. I
Right.
think a lot of times what they're doing is they're remaking these for the new generations that
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know
Exactly.
to
That's exactly
give
right.
them their own, you know, like
Yep.
like so they can call the remake their original or their own
Yep.
type of the movie.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it only
And then of
introduces a
course
new audience.
us, the older generation, we see this remakes and there's like that's junk. What the hell are you doing that for?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I'm just too much into the classics because some of those actors just really nailed their roles, and you can't replace them.
Yeah, another thing these remakes and reboots do is they introduce a new audience to the originals.
Right.
Look at Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars, you've got the original trilogy, they've got their fans. The original trilogy
Mhm.
has their own set of fans. The prequel trilogy, that introduced a new generation of Star Wars. So that turned on a new
Yeah,
generation
but I
into those
also like those.
originals.
I
Yeah.
also liked all of those.
I love the prequel trilogy. I'm a prequel
Yeah,
trilogy defender.
I like the prequel trilogy.
And then the newest ones
Some of those
Sequel
newest
trilogy.
with
ones I like
you
as
know
well.
Sequel trilogy has their own fans, and that introduced a whole new generation to Star
yeah
Wars. I know people that think The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars film ever. That's okay. I didn't like The Last Jedi, but
Right.
it brought fans to Star Wars again, and that's exactly what it needed.
yeah yeah.
Well, I get that. I get that. Still,
And then they actually did make a couple. They made a couple of extra movies in there too. You had Rogue One.
Yep.
That was a
Yep.
filler movie. You had Han Solo. That was a filler movie.
Yep. And I love both of those. I love Solo. Solo got such bad reviews, and
I
Oh,
grew up
not received well.
I know, and it
watching
was.
Star Wars.
Why would they give it bad reviews? It was actually a good movie.
It was a fun movie. I've been to the premiere of every single Star Wars film since 1977. Every single one of them has been completely sold out, standing room only. When I went to the premiere of Solo, there was hardly anybody in the theater. It was so sad to see. But it
Yeah,
was fun. It was a
I
really
can
fun
believe
movie.
it.
I don't understand.
I went to the premiere of the very first one in '77 as well, and the theater I was in just to get in, it was a sold out thing. You had to get your
Sure,
tickets in
yeah.
advance, and the line just to get in went around the block.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
it was,
I remember that.
it was you had to there was you had to stand in back up against the
Mhm.
wall in some cases.
Yep.
Because
The Phantom Menace, I remember when the Phantom Menace premiered, I went to that premiere, and that was completely packed. That was standing room only. And
wow.
the reception that film got was not good. Not good at all. But I
I'm
like,
sorry, but some of these critics, I don't think deserve to be a critic.
I
yeah.
think they
Quite
honor.
honestly.
I think they have to the originals. They honored the way Lucas pictured those films being done.
Yep.
You know, I think they did
Well,
a good job on all of those movies. know. But if you ask me what my favorite is, I'm gonna go back to one of the classics. Okay.
Yeah. Empire Strikes Back, obviously my favorite Star Wars film. I think that's everybody's.
I guarantee you, I guarantee both of you, I experienced Return of the Jedi way different than you would have ever been able to unless you would have been in the same theater at the same time I was.
How'd
And
you
that's,
experience it?
and that's because I lived in California. I was in an old-fashioned theater, so you know the way these are set up, kind of like the Orpheus here. In
The
Madison.
Orpheus.
Orpheus. Anyway, during the Battle of Endor, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, the floor and the screen start shaking because an earthquake hit.
Oh my God.
Nobody got up and left either.
Right, huh?
Nobody left either. We all sat through it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was during the Battle of Endor.
Yeah, no earthquakes here. I mean, the screen shook, but that'd be scary.
Nah, earthquakes are nothing out there.
Well,
I've been through too many of them.
open mind, but sometimes they just cast them wrong, or something just makes it where, yeah, it just doesn't go right. And that's what I get with those. You know, some of those they just don't cast them right, or they screw something up,
Mhm.
or they don't follow the original storyline, but it's supposed to be a remake.
Right.
You know, so then they change the story. It's like, come on. It's like, you know, I was reading something earlier today. You know what they're doing? They're taking and they're making a sequel after the first sequel bombed big time. All right, to that '70s show.
Oh, that '80s show. I remember that.
Remember that? That bombed.
Yep.
Well, guess
Yep.
what?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Netflix is coming out with that '90s show, and it's going to
Interesting.
star Red and Kitty Foreman, the actual two
Mhm.
actors that played Red and Kitty Foreman,
Mhm.
in there.
Hmm.
And
That'd
it's
be
going to
interesting.
have, and they're going to end up taking care of or looking after their grandkid, Donna and Eric's daughter. I think that it was.
Interesting. I'd watch that.
I'm going to
Let's
give
do
it a try because it's going to be all the same writers that was in that '70s show,
But it might
Yeah, that'd be
actually
good.
be good.
and they're going to some of the cast like that played Donna and Eric and a couple others are going to actually make some appearances.
That'd be fun.
So
I
it'd
can
be
get
kind
behind
of
that.
interesting. I could watch that. Yeah, it's going to be on Netflix apparently. I don't know when.
I can definitely get behind that.
I just saw it on Yahoo recently.
So I guess we got talking more about movies now, huh?
No, well, he's that type of guy though with that Twisted Dreams Film Festival.
No, that's all right.
Halloween.
So,
He's-
Chris, I'm just kind of wondering here, what was your, before you got to see it, what was your take on the newest Star Trek that J.J. Abrams was actually involved in
You know,
making?
I
When you
like
first heard of it, before you seen it, what was your thought on that?
I was okay with it. I like J.J. Abrams. I think that he gets science fiction, so I was cautiously optimistic about it.
I was just kind of wondering because I actually wasn't certain of it because he was the one behind the show Lost,
Yep.
and I actually watched. Just hang on. I watched Lost. I watched it from the very first episode all the way through. I felt it kind of trailed off and got dull at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
I got
okay.
disappointed at the end. Yeah.
And it just didn't, and some of it didn't actually make complete sense like it should have.
Right.
So and then he come out with Cloverfield. Now Cloverfield, I get the aspect of that, but to me, it didn't have the explanation of what that creature actually was. And I think a lot of the audience felt the same way too, that they just didn't get the full explanation of exactly what it was.
Right.
But he made up for that, because then he came out with 10 Cloverfield Lane. And at the end of that, it explained a little bit more. And then he worked with Netflix and came out with the Cloverfield Paradox. And to really understand it, you got to watch all 3 movies.
Mhm.
And it gives you a full, complete understanding of it. And then that was after he got involved with making the Star Trek movies. And I think he did an awesome, absolute awesome job, and gave true homage to Gene Roddenberry and the original cast of Star Trek.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And he's a pretty passionate filmmaker. I've got a friend that was actually in that first Star Trek, and he said that even with the bit actors, you know, the background characters, JJ was always on set directing those bit characters, or that's usually a second character. But he was really hands-on with everything.
Oh, I mean, all I know is that new Kirk was cooler than the old Kirk in the 70s. And Shatner was one of the
Well, that was Chris Pine that was the new Kirk.
same style over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, but this Chris Pine, he did a great job playing Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
He did, yeah. And the last I heard, the whole cast and crew are going to be back for another one. There was
It's
a
just
little bit of
Really?
lost Chekhov. It's just
not
too
check,
bad.
yeah, not check off. Obviously, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately they
So,
lost Chekhov, and that guy nailed the old actors. I mean,
he was perfect for it.
he was perfect for that role.
And Simon Pegg, I believe it was Simon Pegg, was Scotty, wasn't he?
Yep. No,
Yeah.
yeah, he was Scotty.
Yeah. And he did an awesome job as Scotty on that one too.
They
Mhm.
they really did a good job casting.
Yeah, they did. They did a pretty damn good job of casting it. But when was the last time you heard that they were going to be coming back for a 4th one?
That was pretty recently. That was in, I think, Variety. That Pine and Quinto and everybody was on board for another one.
Awesome. I'm actually hoping, because I really did enjoy all 3 of them.
Mhm.
I have them. I occasionally, I'll pop them in and watch them again, because I really did like them.
Yeah, they were good movies. I liked them.
What's wrong, Joe?
I think I'm only missing one of those on DVD.
What are the new ones or the original ones?
New one.
See,
The original ones.
I'm not certain did they number them as part of the original series, or did they number them separately from them?
I think they're all.
Because
I don't know.
they did the crossover. They did the full crossover with Leonard Nimoy coming in as the original Spock.
Mm-hmm.
So, but with the newer Star Trek movies, they're a different timeline though.
Yeah, well, I think that was the intent. I think the intent was for them to make a different timeline so that they can make cool
The Kelvin timeline.
Yeah, the Kelvin timeline. So I'm pretty sure that was a full intent to do, but it's just I'm not sure if they actually kept them as part of the original series, or if they was going to make an entire new series out of them.
I think they're just considered a continuation.
Yeah.
And don't count Shatner out for being in another Star Trek film. I would not be surprised if he was in a 4th.
You can get lost in space.
Shatner? Yeah.
You can get lost in space.
I wouldn't count him out, because
he's making that trip to space, on that billionaires thing.
Bezos and Jeff Bezos rocket. He's going to be the oldest man to ever be launched to space, because I think he's like in his 90s, or he's 90 or something like that.
Yeah, and he's channeling.
He's up there.
At the moment.
I know he's at least in his 80s.
Yeah, I think he's 90.
I
like you said, I wouldn't count him out being in another Star Trek movie.
No,
because
Generation.
when they started Generations, he was a guest captain, or actually he was admiral on the Enterprise C.
Mhm.
Or no, B. It was the Enterprise B, and that was the first time you got to see the Enterprise B.
And then he,
Yep.
and then he was also in the movie with the Generation movie.
Well, yeah, that was the movie.
Yeah.
It started out where it was
where
the
they're
maiden voyage of the Enterprise B, and they encountered that ribbon in space, that ribbon of energy in space, and it kind of took out the front of the deflector screen area of that Enterprise, and that's where he was.
it had McDowell. That also had McDowell in it, or whatever.
Yep,
The guy from
Rodney McDowell.
the one from Clockwork Orange.
Malcolm
Or
McDowell
Malcolm, sorry. Yes, thank you, Chris.
from
Malcolm.
from a Clockwork Orange
Yeah.
film.
Yep, he was from a Clockwork Orange. That was a very young Malcolm McDowell.
It was, yeah, it was.
That was like one of his first ones he did.
Mhm.
I watched
It was,
a lot of weird movies. There's another weird one called Cat People. That was really
What's it
weird.
called?
Cat People.
Cat people.
Cat People. Oh yeah, Cat
It
People.
was like a brother and sister or something. If they had sex or something like that, they turned into cats, and then they had to
Mhm.
kill to turn back into a human. They turned into like Black Panthers.
Yep, I remember that.
It was like a curse or something.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I don't know. But this time of year, we've got different types of movies to watch.
Yeah, it's just too bad my wife doesn't like those movies.
Oh, there you go. My wife doesn't like horror movies. Not a fan.
I love them, man. I mean, my dad. I mean, when I first watched Friday the 13th for the first time, my dad's like, "Oh, you want to go to Camp Soleil? Go camping?" It's like, sure. Had the van all packed up, and he just started laughing. I just wanted to see how far you'd go.
There you go.
We didn't even pull out of the driveway. It's like, son of a bitch. You know, I was ready to go back then. I was like,
Yeah.
So it looks like we're getting ready to take a ride with Chris here.
We am, yeah. Like I told these guys, I double booked myself. I got to go down to Kenosha to film a TV show, but we're going to a haunted manor with an actual haunted bus. Maybe I can give you guys a tour of that haunted bus.
Maybe.
so this is he's meeting up with Tom, I believe. Tom Klein, right?
Tom will be there. Molly will be there. So
I know things.
I
know.
want to get a hold of Tom and Molly. I've been wanting to talk to Tom and Molly and find out how things are going with their house.
I talk to Tom a lot. He doesn't mention his house too much.
Yeah, that's not a good story. You know, they got some issues there.
Oh yeah, we were in there. We were in there filming, and,
Yep.
and we actually some of it's up on our YouTube channel.
We need to go back.
Private.
I think we need to go back. Honestly.
Yeah.
And I think we're talking about going back with you and doing an investigation again with them there.
For sure, yeah. Anytime. I'm down anytime you guys want to go.
On my bucket list yet too.
What's that, Joe?
There's a lot of places on my bucket list, though.
Right.
Yeah, I want to get to that axe murder house out there in Iowa. That we didn't make it with Dale because they had a full crew that day.
Yeah, it was fully booked. And
Yeah, so it was fully booked that day.
Yeah, I've been down there. It's an interesting place. When we were down there, there was a massive thunderstorm that kind of added to the atmosphere.
Yeah, those thunderstorms in Iowa compared to the ones in Wisconsin are a whole different animal. Man,
they're kind of scary.
oh no, I love them. Man, that's I went down. I dated somebody for a short time that lived in Centerville, Iowa. All right, and I was still living in Madison. It was like she came up to see Rhythm and Booms for the first time, and there was a big fireworks display, right? It got rained out, so it was the next day. So I took her back home, and on the way back home, they had these massive thunderstorms hit in Iowa. You know, we were cruising down the Highway 80, and oh my God, the colors in the sky were all kinds of different colors. Here, it's just
Yeah.
one color, same color all the time.
Yeah.
Down
Oh, it's
there, I
very
don't know what
flat.
it
It's very
is.
flat.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but you get all that orange, purple, and all these different colors when the lightning lights up the sky.
Mhm.
It's cool as hell down.
It is, yeah. That's the kind of storm that we had when we were there. It was a bad storm. So, and we did kind of tainted all the evidence that we were recording about it. It was cool.
I wish I was doing this back then. I would have had a body cam on me or a camera, and I would have been filming that
Hmm.
footage of that storm because it's something
Yeah.
I've never seen. And I sit here and I like watching storms. You know, I would have been
Yeah.
one of the. If I would have known
Damn it.
when I was a kid if there was such a thing as storm chasers, I would have been. You know,
Yeah.
because I used to stand out. They didn't bother me. Tornado sirens going off, tornadoes, being
Yeah. No,
spotted
me
all
neither.
over. I'm outside looking in the sky, trying to see if I can see it.
Yep.
Where's it at? Where'd
Same
they
here.
say it's at? You know,
Same
everybody
here.
else is
Yep.
down under, in the garage, under the underground, and I'm standing outside the garage, yelling in through the door. Where'd they say it was at? I'm looking, I don't see it.
Yep.
You know,
That's pretty much all of us, I think.
you know. Or me and my dad. Well, my dad got me hooked on that. That was one thing my old man got me hooked on. You know,
It doesn't scare me. None of that scares me.
No.
I mean, we used to go out and survey the damage of the storms afterwards
Mhm.
too. You know, I mean, when those winds, it wasn't even tornadoes. They didn't crack it up to any tornado touching down, but we had 100-mile-an-hour winds through Madison when it took out power lines, all kinds of shit. Right, bent the flagpole completely in half in front of the railback building, the plant, the
Wow.
actual packaging plant. Because I worked there, I was head of security there, I was the on-site
Mhm.
supervisor, and oh man, it did some major destruction
Believe
to
it.
that
Yeah, I
building.
believe it. I know when the movie Twister came out, that really sparked a lot of interest in storm chasing. A lot of people picked up that hobby. So now there's
Yeah,
a
this was
lot of
before
it's
that.
a big
This was that when that
right.
happened. This was before the Twister movies actually came out. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies
And
too.
now it's so easy to do storm chasing. You got all this radar on your phone and iPads, and it's a lot
Well,
easier to do it nowadays.
shit, you can buy a complete
Mhm.
weather station for about 120, $130 from Amazon, and you just hook
Yep.
it up outside your window, and you can get all the readings sent right to your cell phone,
Mhm.
or your laptop. Or,
Yeah, my kids are deathly afraid of tornadoes. Deathly afraid of tornadoes. If
you know,
there's like a massive thunderstorm, we had a
my wife
we heard
gets so.
we heard tornado sirens earlier this summer. There's some really bad storms that hit us here in Milwaukee. My kids are freaking out.
We had some sirens go off earlier this year too
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that I don't have that flake response anymore.
The wife don't like those storms. You don't like
I
those
love
storms.
I
She gets
love
all
bad
crazy and
storms.
scared. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there walking out onto the porch looking, trying to just stay
Mhm.
dry, or I'll walk out to the driveway because we've got one of those overhangs over the driveway. So,
Carport.
yeah, carport. So I walk out under that and I'm just looking up in the sky, watching all the lightning happening and stuff.
Yeah.
Like sitting there, no, nothing crazy. Yeah,
Nope.
okay, it's crazy. Stray jacket just hasn't arrived yet. We're waiting for it. It's
You
on
know,
back.
honestly, Chris, I would think that sometimes in places that are like known to be very, very haunted like that you might get more activity with the thunderstorms.
Yeah, that's actually a theory that goes around. I've got an ozone generator that I use sometimes. It creates that kind of atmosphere that happens before a thunderstorm. You know, that kind of energy in the air.
Right.
So yeah, that's the theory that that kind of atmosphere gives energy to the paranormal.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking too, because whenever you get these thunderstorms and stuff, you get that static and that buildup of energy. And, you know, whenever the spirits do manifest, they like to pull whatever energy they can. That's why you get your cold spots. That's why you got batteries going dead, you know, stuff like that. So if you've got a thunderstorm that is becoming active, you got more energy in the air. So I would almost assume that there would be more activity, or at least a potential for more activity at that point.
Right.
But then again, with the noise that the thunder makes and everything, I can see where the contamination would come in as well.
Yep, I agree. You know, like I said, I've got that. It's actually a negative ion generator, and it's a generator that creates the atmosphere, like right before and after a thunderstorm hits. You know, it's got that smell too. It's kind of a cool machine. But yeah, it's a theory that it feeds the paranormal using energy. So it's definitely something I think I would believe in.
So how long is your drive to get to where you got to go?
It's probably about 30 minutes, like 25 minutes. Depends on how fast the wife is driving. She seems to be doing about the speed limit right now. So sometimes we get there in 20 minutes.
That is a personal chauffeur for the night.
Yeah.
So
I know how that goes. I got my personal chauffeur wherever I go. I don't drive.
Nice. Yeah, I can't complain.
I try not to.
She's okay. I keep
Road rage gets to me, and I turn into something.
Oh yeah. Yep. I understand that.
I drove cab for 4 years in Madison, and I can tell you some stories.
I don't think I could do that.
I drive a straight truck.
Well, that's how I met him. You know, my first day there, I pulled a practical joke, and he got blamed for it until I walked in after being on the road for a while.
I'm an equal opportunist picker. I pick on everybody.
You know, I put a fake parking ticket on my brother's car, and my brother's like 6'2", 250 pounds, full of muscle, like to push his weight around, you know. He goes around blaming everybody for this parking ticket that he found on his car. And he gets to Mark. Mark must have laughed about it or grinned or did something, and Dwayne just immediately assumed that it was Mark that did it, and kept insisting that he did it. Mark's like, I didn't do it. You know, I didn't do it. I didn't fucking do it. You know. And this went on for a while until I walked in, and Dwayne realized, oh yeah, I started my first day working there. I'm the one that did it. So, and then I think Mark said something to me after that, because he didn't know me then, but then he said something to me because he got blamed for my joke.
Oh well.
But it was
funny. I got blamed for a lot of stuff. I never admitted to anything, and I never denied it either.
Yeah, but we also pulled one of the biggest practical jokes of a wedding. At a wedding.
And that was Dwayne's wedding.
At Dwayne's wedding, and nobody's ever gotten us back with that.
Nope.
That was a well-planned practical joke too.
Yep, and it involved 4 people.
A lot of people. No. If you add up all the people we handed out keys to, it involved a lot of people.
There was 4 of us that instigated it. Okay, and I was the one that was given the task of getting all the damn keys.
Yeah,
I got the idea from
a different wedding that I was at before that.
I got like 100 keys or something like that. All of them the same
They
make.
kind of look like apartment keys.
And they look like the key to the front door or to a door lock or whatever on an apartment door. Yeah.
We handed them out to all the women that showed up.
Yep.
right?
All
As they were
all
coming
the
into
women.
the church to watch the wedding, telling them that you'll understand what these keys are for at the reception.
Yep.
Kept them in the dark, even, so nobody knew what the keys were for when we handed them. One person decided to take a couple handfuls and put them in his pocket. Okay. Now, Mark, at the reception, we get all these keys handed out. They're all gone. Mark gets up at the reception and makes an announcement.
I gotta make the announcement because Joe still had his stage fright at that time,
I
so
still got stage fright.
we couldn't depend on him.
So anyway, go ahead.
I got up, made an announcement. And I told them all, I was like, now that Dwayne's married, and him and Kara are going to be moving in, into their own place and everything, that now we need all those keys back so we can get the deposit back. I just need you all to go and take your keys up and drop them with Dwayne.
Now, all these women, grandmas, aunts, cousins, friends of the family, whatever, all these women are dropping keys in front of my brother at the reception table, wedding party table there. And he's sitting there just turning red as an apple. More keys, and because these women are saying things like, "Oh, I'm sorry it had to end. Oh, it's too bad it's over. Are you sure I can't keep this for one last time, a souvenir?" Stuff like that. They were just going along with it. We didn't tell anybody what the keys were for. All of a sudden, and I've got this all on video. I to this day, I still have the video.
That's a good one.
So all of a sudden, Woody, a friend of ours, who happened at the time
He's been a really good friend of all of us.
He happened to look a lot like Kid Rock at the time. Okay. He's the one that had a couple handfuls of keys. He walks up behind my brother, takes the keys out of his pocket, reaches around him, drops them in front of him, and then he plants a kiss right on Dwayne's lips. Dwayne's bride just about fell out of her chair, pissing her pants.
Do it.
To this day, we haven't got back to that joke. Nobody's gotten us back to that one
They
either.
haven't. Nope.
That's another good one. The keys, that's a good one, though. I'll have to remember that. I'll have to remember that.
Somebody's asking if you're getting my text.
You're getting what?
Dale wants to know if you're getting his text.
I am, yeah. I got your, that's Doc. I got your text. We're good. Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah, that was. I saw that at a wedding about 3 to 4 months before that. That nobody at that church, nobody at my brother's wedding would have seen. Okay, and so I ended up telling Mark about it. Mark goes and gets all those keys from a hardware store, and it was a well planned prank. And we even got Dwayne drunk that day too, didn't we?
Yeah, actually we did. We took him out and got him
before
drunk
he
before
got
his wedding.
married, because the church was right across the street from the Ohio.
Yep.
If I remember right.
Okay.
So we got him drunk before he even said his vows. We figured he might need an excuse or maybe an alibi to get out of it later. We were hoping.
No.
You better now be nice. Yeah, I know.
Be nice, Joe.
Never know. That's going to be stories off the air. But yeah, it's just,
So when are you guys coming back out? When are you guys coming back out to Milwaukee? We'll take a tour at Shakers.
oh man, I'd love to. I don't know what we have tonight.
We'd have to figure out a weekend that we could do it.
Yeah, he's only available on weekends.
Okay.
He works.
Well,
Wife works.
Friday night, I get done. I can get done around 2:00 on a Friday, so that give me enough time to get ready to head over there on a Friday night. So, Friday, Saturday night, something like that.
Yeah, and he can't do Sundays because he turns into a pumpkin because he has to go to bed too early.
Well, no, I can do Sunday afternoons. I don't.
Can't do Sunday nights though.
Not late night.
You got to be in bed by 8 o'clock.
I have to be at work by 5:30 now on Monday mornings, not 3 o'clock. I used to have to start at 3 o'clock in the morning on Monday mornings, and
it's an early day, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm 45 minutes away from where I work.
Jeez.
So I'd have to be up at 1:30 on Monday morning just to be able to be out the door by 2 o'clock to make sure I have to work by 3.
Right.
So yeah. So that was kind of rough on me. So
I can imagine, yeah.
And now I changed jobs, and I'm actually making more money than I did at the other place. Plus, I'm guaranteed my hours instead of having to worry if I'm getting them or not. Hey, Tom.
There you go.
There's
Hey,
Mr.
Tom.
Klein.
I hate you. You didn't ask me to go with. Man, if I would have known you were going to get that, doing that, I'd have wanted to go with, man. You should have invited me, Tom. I don't like you no more. You're not my friend.
That's all right. You're still my friend.
He sent me a private message, and he knows what I'm talking about. But they went to Illinois.
Yeah. I kind of know. I can put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. And does it add up to 4?
No, it usually adds up to 8.
Is it?
Oh, Lord.
We won't comment on it. At least I won't comment on it. Oh, joke.
It's an algebraic equation.
Well, you could have taken me with you.
Well,
yeah. Tom is actually meeting me down there, so you guys can see Tom and Molly. If they get there, Tom and Molly, you guys should be on your way, right?
I just saw him not too long ago. I don't want to see him again. I just saw him not too long ago. What day was that I saw you? That was the same time I saw him.
I want to see them. I want to meet up with them. I got something for them.
If I can't have fun with somebody I consider my friend, you just be quiet.
He said he's on their way. You can't read it there.
30 minutes away. Guess you're gonna be waiting a little while for them to show up. They're running late. Watch Tom blame Molly. Don't fall for it. If he blames Molly, it's his fault.
Yeah.
He actually did it.
That's okay.
Good. Pretty much.
We're not going to start filming until a little bit later. So they got
his number figured out.
They went shopping. They do.
Yep.
I'm not going to say what they went shopping for.
No. Yeah, my new job that I have now, I'm down in Milwaukee every Tuesday.
Okay.
So I get down there around between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm there till 12, 1 o'clock, and then I'm back. I come back up to Madison. Just depends on how many deliveries I got to drop.
I got to make the social trip now.
So.
Yeah, there's a lot to do down here.
Well, I need to go. I need to. It's been a while, so I need to make plans to take my daughter and her future husband out for breakfast or something.
There you go.
So I usually go with her.
Your daughter and future son-in-law, you mean?
Yeah, son-in-law, Dino.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to get together with him and take him out for breakfast. That night. She picked the same place her brother picked. and IHOP. And he's in
IHOP.
Middleton.
Nothing wrong with IHOP. I like IHOP.
Well, I got nothing wrong with IHOP.
No, IHOP's good.
Breakfast, that's my favorite food group. I love breakfast.
I don't know. I've got this strange thing now where I like the Belgian waffles.
Food. I made some mini ones not too long ago. We got
Did what?
little mini Belgian waffles.
Uh,
Belgian waffles.
yeah, I don't know. I just, for some reason, I like the Belgian waffles.
You like what you like.
Yeah.
Change that.
Like
It's
all.
phase.
When it comes to breakfast food, I'm not that picky. I'm picky about just about everything else, but when it comes to breakfast food, I'm not that picky.
No, my favorite combination is getting a corned beef hash skillet where the hash is on top of the hash browns with the eggs scrambled on top of that.
Oh, I like.
What? Can't hear you. You gotta
Now
get
you're
close to that
getting me
mic.
hungry, man. Now you're getting me hungry. I haven't eaten yet today. Nobody's reminded me.
Well, I didn't eat dinner when I came in yet, so
I haven't eaten all day.
not my fault.
Say it was.
I haven't seen it, so
It's a
that might be
problem.
funny, but
I don't
haven't.
get reminded to eat. I don't think about it because I don't get hungry.
Yeah, he doesn't get an appetite until he's got that. Till he has his good.
Yeah, but sometimes that doesn't even help give me an appetite. So it doesn't always work. It just takes away the pain and muscle spasms and some of the other stuff. But it doesn't really help with the hunger. The chemotherapy I had to go through and the radiation treatment basically destroyed my stomach. So I wake up with constant morning sickness or nausea in the morning. And then it's constant pain and stuff in my legs and my arms and my joints because of all the stuff I went through. So then you take and give all the prescription pills that they want to give me and keep me on. I would have been spending about 90% of my days in bed sleep in a pill-induced coma. I don't do that. I very rarely take pain pills unless it's really bad, and it's got to be pretty bad because I've got a pretty high tolerance after what I've been through. I've got a high tolerance to pain.
No, I've actually seen him on the pills they used to give him, and I picked him up off the floor after him. So I would rather see him using the other stuff than putting those pills in his body because I see what they can do.
I function this way.
I know.
I function this way, and right now, doing what we do, I have a blast. We have great guests like Chris on. We talk about paranormal stuff, stuff in this case.
Well, this time around, I think we talked more about movies and paranormal
yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's
horror movies.
Time of year, and New Kid was right on the, hey,
it is that time of year.
Man, Halloween is too much fun, man. Remember when we used to have some of the best haunted houses in Madison?
We put together one of the best haunted houses in our neighborhood, people would literally ask us year round.
We could be at a mall or someplace in some store somewhere, and some kid approach us. Hey, you guys having that haunted house this year?
What?
And it was strange because we only had it up for 24 hours. It was up and gone in 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Every single year. Because we didn't want to give away our secrets, and we added them every year.
Yeah, we put it up and take it down after everybody was done.
Yep. We'd stay up late.
What was your secret?
Back down, but we had all the special effects, and we were all made up in characters and makeup, and oh my God. Mark and I scared the hell out of some mom one day. We thought she probably pissed her pants. And we didn't really do nothing but really stand up. All we did was stand up. We were sitting there like the Grim Reapers. We had the sickles, and we were
Well,
standing
that was
facing each other.
that
And
was my costume anyway.
as the kid walked by, we stood up, and she freaked. And she thought we weren't real. She thought we were just statues. So Mom freaked. Who was standing at the sidewalk. It didn't even faze the kid much. Kind of jumped and was like, oh, But Mom, she freaked out. All Mark and I could do was laugh that day. It was funny as shit. But we had fun because we had one of the best haunted houses where we'd get approached when we weren't even close to home. People would recognize it.
Nice.
That we did that. And we only did it every year. That was the secret. We put it up the day of Halloween. We put it up. We had it all set up. We had it all planned out so that we knew exactly what went where and how it was going to get set up. The last thing we did is everybody got into costume, and then we'd take it down after we thought nobody was coming around anymore. We'd take it all down and put it away. That way nobody could see anything or inspect any of our little tricks or secrets of how we did what we did.
Okay.
Fog machines, we had it all.
Interesting.
And we'd add to it every year because we'd wait until those Halloween superstores that would pop up would be putting up their big discounts after Halloween was over with. Then we go in and hit those stores and buy for next year. Just add to our collection. We had and some of it was handmade.
Like a maze. Yeah.
Some of it was all handmade too, like that giant what was that thing? It was the thing that they made that chops off the head.
Guillotine.
The guillotine. Yeah, we made our own guillotine. Handmade.
I made my own scythe for my Grim Reaper costume.
Yeah, we did a haunted house. My friends and I did a haunted house in my friend's garage when we were kids. But they got shut down by the police. We were operating an illegal business. So
what?
It was short-lived. Yeah, we got shut down by the police.
Were you charging people to go in?
Like 50 cents.
Oh, well, so that's probably why.
That's probably why then.
You never got bothered in Madison.
No. In fact, I think the cops actually talked to us about it once, and
I think they were asking if
we were going to be doing
it or if we do it every year, and kids that they'd like to brought it to or some shit like that. I think it was. But
yeah, we actually had we make adults cry when they go through there.
Oh man, we have some demented minds.
We set up. It's just basically it was a maze, and I had it set up to where we could. There was little slit areas where we could get through. I think my favorite was
my brother and Woody that would do this. And
yeah,
4 of us together, we had some demented minds.
And then Kara and Gina would work the door.
We turned the front yard into a cemetery, made homemade tombstones.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But my favorite one was when that one year I set it up to where when they came in, it was a hall. It was like a one way going down. When you got to the back wall, you had to turn to go the other way. But the way I had it set is there was a mirror set in there, and it had a strobe light above it, so you couldn't see that mirror when you were coming down through there. So basically, they were spooking themselves when they get to the mirror.
Well, that was the year we had the maze in the garage.
Yep. The maze in the garage.
My other brother came to help us that year too. He was there to help us during that.
We set up a maze. We set up a maze in a garage too.
Yeah, I loved it. Halloween for me, it got more fun when I became an adult.
Yeah.
And I got to be on the end of scaring the kids as they came to my front door or something. I'm not kidding you. I've had so much fun when we did that haunted house for like 5 years.
I think we did it for 5 years.
Before Dwayne gave up on it.
Yeah, we did it once at my house. I had a big backyard. I actually had a screened-in back porch. So we ran it through the porch, out into the yard, all through the yard, and back up and out.
I've been wanting to do it out here, but I don't think we get a whole lot of attention. That's why you have to.
Yeah, you'd have to get some permission for it out there, though.
Oh, I wouldn't have to. Remember, my wife's on the board of directors.
Yeah.
We've got pull. We've got pull in this community. I know most of my neighbors. I don't think anybody'd have a problem with it. You know, the nice thing about it is we got the carport plus the garage if it cleaned out.
Yeah. I suppose.
That's the first time I've owned a house. But I've owned it for 5 years. We've owned it for 5 years and lived here for 5 years, almost 6. And we've never really taken it that far. Talked about it, just haven't done it. But it was my favorite time of year. We don't get any trick or treaters out here either. It's sad.
Yeah, we get
Except for
quite a
my
few in our
grandkids.
neighborhood.
I get my grandkids. They come over. But that's it. They come over to see
Yeah.
grandpa and grandma. Some candy from us. And that's about all we keep candy for because we haven't gotten kids here yet. I'm from Watertown.
Okay.
If that's what you're asking. Mark's in Fort Atkinson.
Yeah. I'm in Fort Atkinson.
Yeah, but we used to both be in Madison. We were doing the haunted house that was in Madison on the east side. And we were getting people from all over Madison. Some of them were showing up. Oh, I live in Middleton, or I live in Farland, or I live in Stoughton, Oregon, and I heard about this and had to go check it out. And we never advertised it really. It was just word of mouth that got out, got us noticed. Yeah. But I guess that's what happens when you get 4 demented minds together to make a haunted house. It's gonna get some attention. We were pretty creative.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We're almost at the manor. We're gonna pull up.
So what is this manor?
It's Dr. Destruction's haunted manor. Jerry Smith's.
Yeah,
hunting
but
farm.
isn't it an actual haunted, supposedly haunted place?
It's got a haunted bus. It's a real haunted bus. Yeah, it's kind of a hybrid corn maze / haunted attraction.
Well, doesn't the manor have a name?
Dr. Destruction's haunted manor.
Now you're just being funny. There's a true name to the manor.
No, that's it. That's it.
I believe it. Not.
I'll let the doc explain
Whatever,
it to you.
Joe.
Well, it's just that, it's like these manors from way back when. They have an original name that's as old as the manor.
Right. Yeah, there was at the state fair they used to have a haunted house back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, 60s. Haunted Lavin Manor.
And there is, in the Milwaukee area, there is a couple of famous actual manors that are haunted.
Oh yeah, there's Brumder Manor.
You know. That's what I was getting to. Let's see if it was one of those.
Whew. Beautiful October evening.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
Perfect weather now. I'll take this over a hot summer night.
Yeah, but it's been in the 80s. Oh, that doesn't happen. We're in California. When's the last time you remember it being 80-something in October in Wisconsin?
Well, right now it says 62 degrees here.
I know that, but the highs, the during the day highs, earlier in the week or last week were in the 80s.
Yeah.
We're like low 80s, 81, 82, something like that. And that doesn't happen too often in Wisconsin.
No, I think we got Indian summer. a couple of warm days. Hopefully they're over. I'm done with 80-degree weather for the year.
You know, when you get this summer thing going on, you know, the winter ends up being hell. That's when you get those blizzards that bring in, you know, a couple of feet of snow in 24 hours. Shut schools down and shut cities down.
All over year.
So are you filming Dr. Destruction here tonight, or are you filming
Yep.
something else here?
You know, we're gonna film a couple episodes of Crimson Theater. We were gonna film yesterday, but that was
You got rained
crazy
out.
rain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard about that. Tom talks too much sometimes.
Tom talks too much. Never.
No, I talk to Tom a lot.
Yeah, Tom's okay. Tom and Molly, those kids are okay.
I like Tom.
Yeah. We keep them around.
Well, shit. When we met, we barely knew Tom and Molly. We went to that thing. What was that? That Wisconsin podcast festival for the first time,
Yep.
and he gives us the VIP passes.
Yep. He
You
gave
know,
us a couple of VIP passes.
we just had the normal general admission thing tickets, and he turns around and it's like, no, here, take the VIP passes.
Yeah.
So he upgraded us to VIP, you know, and it's like, oh, that's,
Without us asking.
you know, I didn't ask for it.
That's what I said, without us asking.
He just did it.
Yeah, they're okay. They're good kids.
Molly told us a lot gave us a lot of great tips from Molly from
Oh, yeah.
podcasting part of it, you know, the technical side of everything. We got all our tips and websites to go to and stuff. All that came from Molly, picking Molly's brain. You know,
Sure. Yeah.
if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have gotten out there as fast as we did, as good as we did. You know, because she told us to use Audio Boom to get it out there, and now we're on Amazon Music and all those other places you can find our podcast, the audio version.
Well,
You
it's
know,
damp out here.
so she gave us so
I
many
got
awesome
something.
tips. It wasn't funny.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. It is damp out.
Yeah,
It's damp and chilly.
I can believe it. It's damp here too. You're close to the lake. You're close
Take you
to the
guys.
lake down there.
Take you guys to check out the manor.
We did our first crossover with Off the Rails too.
Yep. Actually, give me just a minute. I gotta use the restroom.
Yeah, he's an old man. He got a drinking problem.
Okay.
It almost looks like prison fencing at some point.
Let me flip it around.
Got the barbed wire fence above it. Wow, that's like the entrance to the corn maze, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, see, I couldn't do that. You know, the thing that would be going through my mind right now? Children
What's
of the Corn. You know, that'd be the first thing that comes to mind. Children of the Corn, man.
This is kind of the outside of the front part.
Oh, wow. Wow, those look like some really cool old buildings. I could get a lot of ideas for filming around something like that.
For sure, yeah.
You know, they look like something like out of the old West days.
Mm-hmm.
Do that in black and white, and you could get some cool footage on that.
Yep. This is
Not
actually
that
our set where we film Crimson Theater. I don't want to take you too far in because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. But right now,
Yeah, I've seen your theater. I've watched the show before, once or twice.
Yep. Oh, this is the set. This is the library set.
Yeah. That is cool. Tom says you'll be there in 10 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, we did. See, I love to do that kind of stuff. I've always wanted to do that kind of stuff. When I got to high school, they wouldn't let me get into those classes that I wanted to take because they said they were full. I transferred in from Oregon and I went to Follett. Follett and Madison had some pretty unique courses that I wanted to take.
Okay.
See, I was already like an AV student, when I was in middle school, I was an AV student. So if they wanted somebody, had to have somebody set up the film projector, I'd be the person to call on.
Sorry about that. I had to use a can, and of course, Lisa wanted to talk to me real quick.
So I always had that interest, but the problem I'm having is learning how to use some of that editing software and getting some cool editing and figuring out how to do it right.
Right.
I'm sitting on some Beast of Bray Road footage that I'd like to turn into like a mini movie or documentary.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
just not sure how to do it yet.
Right.
And this is from, the 8 hours, there's like 8 hours of footage where we're filming Lee showing us all the different evidence that he's collected.
Yeah, we interviewed Lee that first time we met him. We interviewed him. Got a
Yeah,
lot of
we're
that
like
on
8
video.
hours.
And then we went and sat in his barn with him and went through a bunch of the pictures and everything else too. So we got almost, I think it's like 8-9 hours of video of that day.
And then but that same day we also took a tour.
That's what I was adding that in, Joe.
Okay.
So we've got like 8 or 9 hours total of the interview with him, the tour of his property and all that.
Pictures he gave us.
And then the second time we met up with Dale, because Merrick, we were out there, I don't know, probably another at night doing an investigation then, and probably had another close to 8 hours of
8 hours. Yeah, we
video there.
We got there at dusk. We got there between 6 and 7.
And I think it was like 3 in the morning when we left.
We got chased out of there by the fog at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that fog rolled in so fast and so thick, it was unbelievable. And then
even in California, I would have expected it to roll in that quick, but not here.
I've never seen it roll in that quick. As long as I've lived in Wisconsin, I've never seen it.
It was weird,
we had
man.
to pack our equipment, so we packed up real quick. So by the time we got packed up and everything to the car, it couldn't have taken more than 5 minutes, maybe 10 tops, and the fog was gone.
Yeah, it had dissipated out.
It was like it was trying to chase us out of there.
It was weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I've seen fog roll in pretty quickly.
Yeah, but this was just too strange. Like it was trying to push us out. It wanted us because it was like maybe a few hours, 2-3 hours before that, Mark was walking out into the hayfield part of it. Meanwhile, you can hear all of this on some of the audio footage and the video footage. You can hear the audio of this. You hear Dale and I talking about a bipedal figure we caught on thermal, that Dale caught on thermal in the cornfield. And you'll hear us saying that we couldn't get it anymore and we think that it followed Mark. All right. When Mark got back from his walk, and see, Mark couldn't hear us talking about this because he was out of earshot. Okay. We weren't talking that loud. So there's no way he heard us. He was way down there, and when he got back, the first thing he said to us, I think something was following me through the cornfield. But we had a bipedal figure in the cornfield on the thermal.
And I've got separate audio.
Dale and I talking about it.
I've got separate audio of me actually talking to it, saying that I know it's there. You might as well come out.
Just Mark something following.
And I was down quite a ways away from them. So
I'd like to see your footage on Bray Road though.
I'd
like to see your footage on Bray Road. That's pretty fascinating. It's always really interested. I've been there a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've been.
We can hook up
Farm.
and stuff.
We were at Lee Hampel's farm when we did this,
Okay.
and I'm not the first one, and Mark and I aren't the first ones, but it has been called, and I believe it. They call it like the Skinwalker Ranch of Wisconsin.
Yeah, because of all the stuff.
There's a lot of shit going on Lee's farm. And
Have you met Lee, Chris?
have you
No,
ever
I
met
haven't.
Lee? If you ever meet Lee, man, you talk to him, he is very credible. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy's what
Sure.
was he? The math
He's a retired math professor.
professor.
Wow.
Okay, the guy is extremely intelligent and stuff like this, but he didn't buy the property for. He had no idea about the Beast of Bray Road or any of it until
Yeah,
after.
he didn't buy it for that. He bought
He
it
bought
to
it
make
for the
for hay.
hay so that he could feed it to his horses back in Illinois where he lives.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah, they board horses.
he started hearing the stories, or somebody told him, what was it? Somebody told him, you know about the Beast of Bray Road? And he's like, what? And he ended up, after he heard about it, he started putting up trail cams.
Well, actually, Joe, after he heard about it, he actually seen it.
Yeah.
He seen what he believed was the beast.
Right. But
that near his farm.
Just the so-called Beast of Bray Road going on there.
Yeah. So he put up trail cams, and boy, he's been catching some just very interesting,
really
off the wall kind of stuff.
Pictures, unidentified flying objects in the sky, and they're pretty impressive.
I actually got some impressive pictures that his camera took that he let us have for part of our stuff. There's some more pictures I want to get from him. There's one in particular I want to get that shows a deer carcass. And it's got. Originally, when you first look at it, you think it's the bones from the rear leg. But if you examine it a little closer, it's not. It's a type of bone, like a femur type bone, but it's stuck inside the deer, and you can catch the edge of what looks to be a tool on the end of it,
Okay.
like a cutting tool. And I want to get that picture from him too.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then there's one that kind of looks like the shadow of what could be a Bigfoot.
Yeah, we have that one.
Trail cam pictures.
We have some of his trail cam pictures, and they're intriguing.
Then there's one that kind of looks like a flying dragon or lizard or snake or something in the sky. It doesn't look like any type of bird that's indigenous to Wisconsin.
Oh, do you guys remember all the Mothman sightings down at O'Hare right around the start of
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, we heard about those.
Yeah. That's interesting, and then all of a sudden they just stop. They don't have any more Mothman sightings.
Dale was telling me a lot of those were hoaxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I thought that O'Hare has massive video surveillance, so somebody must have caught. So if there was something going on, they caught it on video. They must have.
I don't know. I do know that some of it down in that area was not actually true. The people were incredible. Somebody went in this about those stories that knew Dale, and he was telling me about some of those Mothman sightings. But he said there are a few of them that are legit from the airport. But it's also government property too. So you never know. They could be covering it up, trying to cover it up.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that Homeland Security
Right.
has that whole ground
sightings anymore because we did a thing. What was that? A couple of years ago, before we started having guests, we did a thing on the Men in Black. And say that they don't exist and they don't do things to cover that kind of stuff up. It's highly possible.
Right.
I mean, if they're going to cover that shit up, they got to have somebody to help them cover it up. That's
Yeah,
a lot
I agree.
of witnesses to kind of say, shut the fuck up or else. You know, a lot of newspapers say, go and say, no, this you're going to print this as a reaction to that story. They got to have the people to do that and have the influence to go around and do that
Yeah,
and be able to keep it secret. I mean, with all the different secret societies and secret government, who's to say there ain't something? Who knows? I believe it. I believe it there. It's probably a good reason why we haven't had any visitors yet. That's been a big news thing. All
yeah,
of a sudden, the aliens from such and such a planet have decided to visit us. We're having these talks at the White House. I mean, not to say that how it happened, but
right.
it's just an example of if it truly would happen, it would go something like that. It'd be all over the news. you know. But yet, all these people are witnessing this stuff every day. UFOs
Yep.
all over the world. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, people are witnessing it. Are you going to tell me that millions and millions of people are loony and seeing things?
Right. Yeah, I've said that before
Misidentifying
too.
everything.
There's so many sightings that people have seen, so many things that people have seen. Is everybody wrong? Is everybody
I
crazy? I
don't
don't
think
think so.
so. Yeah, I don't.
No, definitely not. There's something there that people are seeing. Are there people making things up? Absolutely. Are there hoaxes? Yeah, no question about it. But
Hmm.
there's also people out there that are really seeing this.
There's some pretty there's some pretty credible people out there and some pretty credible stories out there.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah,
hoaxes out there, and some of them are easily, you can see if something's photoshopped or just,
yep,
something to figure it out. But especially after doing this for a short time, spot some stuff. But I believe a lot of it's true because some of these stories are just too similar, and these people don't even know each other, and they're from two different time zones away, or
right,
countries away,
right.
you know.
Those are normally the most credible
Eyewitness
stories you can
stuff like this, and you got them out there talking about Bigfoot in Russia.
get.
Over here in Australia, they got the same thing, and now that you got them all over the United States, Japan's got their own version. Everybody got their own version, but it's all got the same common tall, hairy, ape-type man figure.
Yep, yep, yep.
You
Bigfoot
know,
is seen all over the world. All over the
right,
world. Everybody
right,
has their own version of Bigfoot. There's
right,
got to be something. I mean,
exactly.
how many species of animals are we discovering almost every day? Still finding new species.
Yeah,
So,
we're still finding new species of animals and even insects,
Or
but we're also
species
losing a
washing
lot
up
of,
on shore.
and we're also losing a lot of species too.
Yeah,
we
but
are.
there's some
So
extinct ones washing up on shore that were believed to be extinct thousands and
Mhm.
thousands of years ago because of
well,
fresh
one of
carcass that was killed maybe a week ago.
yeah
Yep.
one of the things that one of the creatures from the sea that they thought was extinct that they found it off the coast of Japan was the coelacanth. You know, that one was thought to be extinct because nobody had ever seen one in over 100 years, and then all of a sudden a fisherman pulls it up out of the ocean live and kicking. You know,
Exactly.
but with the fact that
Impossible.
with the fact that we've only explored about 15% of our oceans
I was
right
just
now,
going to say that. Yeah, we've explored
we
such a
know
small portion.
more. Yes, we know more about our solar system than we do about our freaking ocean, our planet itself. We've got cave systems that run underneath the United States and Brazil or South America and the European nations. There are actual natural cave systems that we haven't even explored a fraction of them.
Mhm.
You know, what's to say what the hell lives down there? You know,
And then think about some of the dense forest areas that man can't get through. You know, there's some pretty dense forest areas.
well,
You get up into Washington where the most
unfortunately, give it a few years, the Amazon's not going to be there anymore.
Right. Yeah.
We need to quit killing ourselves for one. And I think some of these species are showing up trying to get us to quit killing ourselves.
Oh well, the government's got to try to stop covering up some of this stuff too.
Yeah, that's one of the theories about alien visitation. In the 40s, alien visitation really picked up after we invented the nuclear bomb. That's when we really started seeing alien
Yeah.
Before us.
technology.
Yeah, well, that's the funny part, They show up after man learns how to split the atom.
Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not.
Well, here's
now and
here's
on,
something for
all
you.
that population of sightings go way up.
Here's something for you though. This is from a man that used to be he used to be in the Navy. He was an intelligence officer. He said coincidence takes a hell of a lot of planning.
Yeah, true.
For anything to be a coincidence, it takes a hell of a lot of planning. So
I get comments for that.
If it's a coincidence that we're seeing all these unexplained craft in the sky, then how was it planned?
Yeah, well, I believe in Gibbs. I don't believe in coincidences.
Joe, you got to get closer to the mic.
I said, just like Gibbs, I don't believe in coincidences either. I don't. It's just,
Well, no, you can't. There he is.
oh, jeez. The camera just broke. Check that out.
Soon as he walked up there, the camera went out.
Dr. Purr shows up and the camera goes out.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
You can't hear
Look
me.
at the little scruffy
I
there.
can't hear nothing. That's fine. I'll just say, hey, guys.
Here, hold on. Ways.
He's starting to look a little scruffy there.
Oh, that's why he couldn't hear us, because you had to hit the headset on. Uh-oh.
Now he's muted.
Now you're muted, Chris.
You're muted, Chris.
How about now? There you go.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Hold on. Ready?
I was going to get that shirt too.
Although we can't see it. You gotta tip the camera down.
Unfold it. All right, guys. Unfortunately,
Where'd you find that?
We have to
What's
go.
that?
Comedy show.
I was going to buy
All
that
right.
shirt, but I got it too quick. But I've got to sign off. We've got to get ready for filming. Come on down to Jerry's department. Visit the manor. Guys, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for coming on, Chris.
Come on.
And good to see you again, Tom.
Yep, nice seeing you guys.
Gotta holler at you. I want to meet up with you guys.
Yeah, that's Tom
Sounds
off
good.
the rails.
Yep, Tom
Awesome.
from Off the Rails. You guys
Okay.
check his stuff out.
And make sure
All
you
right.
check out Chris's podcast on Thursdays.
Thursdays at 7. You bet.
Pop Culture Podcast. It's fun to watch.
Thanks.
All right,
Appreciate it.
guys, have fun.
Bye, guys.
Later.
We are out of here.